Hello guys and welcome to another episode of our weekly live passion to profession. It's a live session where we get to talk to industry experts so that they can give us the tea. They can tell us what's going on. They can let us know, you know, how we can survive, thrive, and do well with the chosen path that we have or that we are on. And in this episode, we are going to be talking to our wonderful guest. Uh, Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you? How has been your day?
I'm fine, thank you.
Saturdays are always crazy, but
Well, I woke up with a really serious migraine. So
oh, I'm so sorry.
no, it's fine.
Sorry that I had to drag you here despite this.
It's fine. It's
Despite
a
this.
pleasure to be here. It's a privilege. Thank you.
We are blessed that we're able to get you here. Thank you so much. And I love your hair. It's so
Thank you.
nice.
I don't know what to do to it next, really.
I wish I can do that, just have the confidence to cut my hair and walk around the streets with low cut. That
Well, I've
would
always
be
been like that. The hair, no matter how long my hair grows, if I won't cut it, I'll cut it.
too much money. I don't have that kind of money. Even when I comb my hair and I see a little breakage, I almost want to cry. Like, why? But this is cool. So thank you so much, and welcome.
Thank
So
you.
can you just quickly introduce yourself to us? We'll get to know who you are and what you do.
Okay. Okay, my name is Tolu, and I'm a visual artist. Sometimes I like to say I'm a multi-dimensional artist. I'm a total creative. I sing. I'm a musician. I play the guitar. I sing. I'm an artist. I'm a visual artist. I draw. I paint. I'm a writer. Though I'm a lazy writer now. Yeah, I've not written anything this year. So I write. So just like a creative, I prefer to call myself a creative, and basically I think that's what I am, a creative.
I find that people who are into the creative field or creative industry somehow touch on a lot of all of these things one way or another.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's correct.
it's impressive. So we're going to focus, or let me try to say, let's focus on one aspect of what it is that you do largely, which I from what I have seen, is largely visual art.
Okay.
So all the other passions are great, of course. Gone are the times when they tell us you cannot. They are great, but just to be able to direct our conversation, let's work with the most prominent aspect, which is the aspect of visual art. So, what inspired this path that you have chosen, the path of visual art?
Okay. I would say that from a really young age, I had always known that I was a creative person. For example, in my primary school, but that was all thanks actually to my headmaster. So, a lot of times teachers are quite underrated. So that was all thanks to my headmaster. So my headmaster saw something. My headmaster gave me the assignment to write my first poem in primary 4. Yeah, I wrote my first poem. He made me someone who loves to read. Yes, and so my headmaster he would just pick up on people. He would notice that, okay, this child has this strength, something that even your parents may not have even discovered. Mr. Kikeriode, that's his name. I'll never forget his name, Kikeriode. So he would just pick us. Yes, he would just pick us. And, we were almost like a circle. Those of us, we would be the ones in the choir. We would be the ones who would do the dance and drama in school. We would be the ones who would do the debates. So it was always all there. But then after primary school, I went to secondary school. And you know the way it is with our parents. If you're really brilliant or you're book smart, then you have to go to science. Yes. Then you have to go to science class. I think it is in our generation where parents are discovering that the fact that your child is brilliant or book smart does not necessarily mean the child has to, you know, be in this aspect. The child could be whatever. So, you know, and it was science class from SS1 through to SS3. And what I wanted to do was be a medical doctor. So in secondary school, I practically kind of like shelved the creative aspect. I still used to write. I was still a voracious reader. I used to sing. I never stopped singing. So I always tell people that for me, music has always been with me. More like music grew up with me, but I found art. So I wasn't an artist from when I was young. I found art later in life. So I was creative, yes, there was the creative part, but that got shelved in secondary school. I was a science student, so the ideas shifted. I wanted to be a medical doctor and all. Even though I was struggling with chemistry, but I would just read to pass. I hated chemistry, but I would just read to pass and, you know, just go. But I used to do music. That never left. So after secondary school, JAMB. So my first JAMB, I failed. My SSC, my first SSC, I think I failed chemistry. So I couldn't even go in for medicine. And I was on it for 4 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I was on it for 4 years because I wanted to study medicine. And, you know, I think for 2 years, I would pass really well, do the UTME and all that. And I would not be picked for that course. So I went to 2007, I went to Lautech. Yes, that's my alma mater. So I went to Lautech, and I think what people knew me for in Lautech initially was my guitar, because I would go everywhere with my guitar. Because I would go everywhere with my guitar, and my English name, Charisma, so it just became a brand name, Tolu Charisma, and that was what everybody knew, Tolu Charisma, Tolu Charisma. So I would go everywhere with but I was still pursuing, wanting to study medicine. That was why I came. So when the first list came out, I started receiving lectures. My name didn't come out on the list. Second listing, my name didn't come out. It didn't come out. Thankfully for me, I went to a fellowship, SCM, where I met people who were already like in 300 levels, 400 levels. The people I was really connected with, the first person was the music director of the fellowship I went to, Pastor Shola, and he was in fine arts, graphics design department. The other person was architecture. So the both of them in 2 different departments, I was close to them. I was helping them with their projects. I would help Pastor Shola with assignments, help him with graphics design, you know, handling things. Then he asked me one day, I said, why exactly do you want to study medicine? Have you ever thought that you could study fine arts? I was like, fine arts? Why would I? I cannot even tell my mommy at home that after 4 years of not gaining admission, you want to study fine arts. And it was my first time. It was actually my first time of hearing that you could study fine arts in school. I can't draw. I couldn't draw. Do you understand? The other person said, study architecture. You're really good at this thing. You are creative. You would do well. So I told God now that, okay, so that 2007, my name didn't come out. My mom said, come back home. I said, lie. I'm staying here until I gain admission. My mates are almost done in the university. So God used those 2 men as springboards for me, because if I hadn't met them, I most likely would still maybe have studied medicine. So the vision changed. I wanted to be a medical doctor who would use music to help my patients and all that stuff. So the jump I did in 2008, the next jump I did when my name didn't come out, I told God I was going to pick those 2 courses, but I was going to use fine art as my first choice and architecture as the second choice. People told me, why would you pick 2 courses in the same faculty? That you don't do that, it's dangerous. I said I was going to do it. And I told God that wherever my name comes out, I will take it as where you want me to be. And my name came out on the merit list, fine art. Okay, so that was where it started for me. And so 100 levels, my drawings were not good. 100 level. I remember a friend of mine saying that, and you are sure Sheldon is here. He was like, he asked me, he said, are you sure you want to study fine arts? That department is full of people. They won't let you go. You had better be serious. And I took it upon myself to be serious. My 200 levels. So I became a little passionate about it. I wanted to learn how to draw, because for me, whatever it is I do, I like to be really good at it. I like to be really good. So I think that was where the passion to learn. First, it wasn't the passion for the profession itself, because I even didn't understand it when I started. It was the passion to learn to be good at it because they said this department is not for the faint-hearted. So I'd better be good at this thing. So I do not have an extra year, and there's the fear of having an extra year anyways. So I think that was the initial passion, was to be good at what I was studying. I chose it. If I'm not good at it, people would ask you, if you knew you couldn't do it, why did you decide to get yes? So I think the first passion was to be good as a student, to be good at what I chose. The passion for the profession itself came later. As we continue our conversation, I'll talk about it.
This is a very different path from what is usually the normal thing. Usually, most people will say, "I really loved to draw from my childhood, and then I decided to follow this path." And all of that's usually the most common thing. So hearing that you decided your passion was to be good, which is really, really important. Like, a lot of someone said one time, I've forgotten where I read this now, just some random stuff, how that if you are good at something naturally, sometimes it almost gives you you feel like you feel relaxed, some sort of. But if you are not good at it and you know that you're not good at it and you put in the work, there's a very high chance that you're going to be a lot more better than someone who was naturally good at or gifted at that thing. Because a lot of times we take for granted the natural giftings that we have, and we lose sight of the fact that you still need to develop. And if you don't develop, those that are ready to do the work coming to take over. But what was the response from your parents towards studying art? Because, for example, I studied architecture, but as a kid, I loved drawing. I used to draw everything. Sketch. I used to draw like cartoon characters, all those comic books that once they bring it for us, I draw everything on the book rather. And my dad would always be like, at the time, my first thought was, you need to be an artist. And my father was like, you must be joking. It's not in this house. In this house, you're going to be a lawyer.
Oh my, a doctor or an engineer.
And I'm like, I don't say any other thing. Art, are you joking? And even though I didn't follow that path eventually, which I've even lost most of the touch of being able to draw and all of that, which is what I'm talking about, how that you don't do something, you lose it. And no. So my parents never saw any need for me to do that. Although I eventually, stumbled upon architecture, and I felt this is something I would really love to do, considering that I already have some passion for art and for design and all of that. So what was the reaction from your parents towards this?
Well, it was my mom, single parent. So I had picked the course. I didn't come home. So I'd done the exam. I'd picked the course, done the exam. The results were out. I went back home. After I'd seen my result and I said, okay, I passed, I went back home. And I sat her down and I said, okay, mommy, so I did my UME and the results are out and I passed. She asked me, oh, for medicine? I said, no. Finance. My mom said, finance. And funny thing, before I decided to even go to Lautech, because it was Unibadan for me. I tried Unibadan 3 years before I tried Lautech. It was Unibadan. And in that time, I wanted to go to Muson School of Music while I was seeking admission. So one day my mom called me and sat me down and said, okay, so you have two options. The money for you to go to university, let me give it to you. Would you rather go to Muson and you would not go to the university? Or you would go to the university and not go to Muson? I would have chosen Muson. But I knew that she wanted me to go to the university. So I said, no, I won't go to Muson. I would go to university. Let me use that money. So when I came back home and then told her again that it wasn't medicine, I'm sure that at that time my mom was looking at me like, Iromo, what kind of doctor is this? Do you understand? Yeah, so I just told her that I chose finance. She was like, fine arts. What's that one? That are you just going to be drawn? Because even she didn't understand. I said I was what I wanted to do that. I met people who felt like I was creative and it was a path to follow. And that's what I'm doing. That I've tried to study medicine for years. And at that time, I was already in my 20s. Like I was about 20 years. I finished school 16 years. 4 years, that was 20 years old. I was already an adult. Do you understand? So I just told her that 4 years is enough time for me to change paths already. That. hopefully my name comes out. So she didn't really, react out of what she wanted was shall gain admission and leave this. That's so it wasn't anything. She wasn't against it. She was just surprised that I switched from medicine. It was a huge difference. You get medicine to fine art is a lot.
They are really polarized.
Yes.
They're really polarized. So you talked about how the passion to be good at what you're doing was what pushed you towards, was the beginning of this path before you then had the passion for the profession. Now, when developing the skills that you needed for this profession, when learning, and all of that, what steps did you take? What are the things that you needed to do, to develop, especially for you that this was not your natural gifting?
No. So I always take pride in saying it, because I've had the privilege and the opportunity to instruct people, and I always take pride in saying that you can learn it. I was not born talented as an artist. I could not draw a circle. I can draw now, and I say that with utmost pride.
I say your stuff now. Like
I can draw now, so you can learn it. But in learning, it's difficult. The road to getting to where you can boldly and confidently say that, okay, I am good at this thing, is a difficult path. And so for me, let me start with myself. So 200 levels, I struggled a little. I saw my friends, my colleagues who were good, and as a child growing up, I already had a tendency to be friends with people who were older than me. A lot of my friends were way older than me, and they were men. A lot of them were older than me, men. Maybe in another life I would come as a boy. Do you understand? So when I also got into fine art departments, I became friends with my senior colleagues, 400 level. I wanted to know, and I became friends with people who knew. So my friends right now, I have Tomide Aluku. I became friends with Tomide, Okweyemi, Sheyi, several of them, because I saw that they knew what they were doing. Palma. And what I would do was I would watch. Then I had a mentor right there. She was in 500 levels, Shade. So Shade would take I and my best friend at that time. We were three, we were in a clique, Torera, Jola, and myself. But before Torera joined us, it was Jola and I that Shade used to train in drawing, and we didn't understand, really. We like a lot of things that I do now in my drawing. I remember that, okay, they told me this thing when I was in 200 level. Now I understand it. But what we had was the urge to want to be better, to want to draw like these people. So from 200 levels, I wanted to be like my seniors. I wanted to be able to draw. When you see their drawings, you'll be floored. You'll be like, are these people humans at all? So when I was in 300 level, those in 400 level went for IT. They're IT in Lagos. We were in Ogumosho at a place called Universal Studios of Art, Igomu. And when I meet people who tell me that they actually have a passion for drawing, they want to do this, the first place I send them to is Universal Studios of Art. Why? In Nigeria, I would say Nigeria, let's say West Africa, but I would say in Nigeria, it's the only atelier for artists in Nigeria where you as a young artist, you have a wealth of knowledge you can grasp from there. So it's a place where you go, you have live drawings every day of people. That's the most difficult thing to draw as an artist, a human figure. But in the Universal Studios of Art, IT students, so students who are in school for their CWES, for their IT trainees as artists, they can go there. They take them in, and you model for yourselves. So you have the quick sketches where you just stand there for 3 minutes. Everybody sits in a circle, in a huge circle. There's someone in front of you. You draw the person for 3 minutes. You're practicing your wrist movement and all that. Another person comes, sits for 1 hour. A student like yourself, you draw. So our seniors went there. When they came back, they brought good reports. So I told myself I was going to go there for my IT. Now that was where I usually say that was where I knew I was going to have a career as an artist.
Mm.
So I went there and I met a man called Ejo Wallace. I am going to forever be indebted. Yes, Mr. Ejo Wallace. I'm going to forever be indebted to him in nurturing my growth as a draftsman. A draftsman is someone who draws. So when I got there, you know, IT, we closed by 4 p.m. And it's a distance from where I used to stay. I used to stay at K2. I'll take BRT home and all that, or public transport. At the gate of the studio, Mr. Ejo will come out from his office and call only me. Everybody will be going home. And we say, hey, you. He calls me Abrantie. He's Ghanaian. So he calls me Abrantie. Abrantie is a short person in Ghana. Or small person, small statured person. So he say, Abrantie, come back here. Go there. He will tell only me to pick another person and sit in front of the person and dress person. Sometimes I will cry. Like, why does this man hate me? But you know, that's how it is sometimes for someone who wants you to grow. It feels like they hate you. Sometimes he would look around other people's drawings because he was our instructor, and he would just hit me hard on my back and say, now you I hate pass for this place. It's not true. It was just his way of, you know, getting my attention and getting me to work. So apparently he saw the potential. And he knew that if he didn't horn down on me that way, I would also just be one of those people who came to the Universal Studios and left, and, you know, no improvement. And, you know, so from there, I knew that that was where the fire started. And, you know, there was great improvement from before I went to the Universal Studios of Art in 2012 to when I went back to school. So when I went back to school in 2013, I became part of the people in my class whose we used to have our own live drawing too, whose drawings became some of the most excellent drawings in class. Do you understand? My works became part of those that would be picked, and I was proud of myself. So I didn't want to stop there. Do you understand? I still wanted to be better. So from there, it grew. Then after school, you understand, still seeing, I think also because I'm someone who does not like to be mediocre in the things I do. Once people know that I do something, I always like to put my best foot forward. So
very important.
Yes, so the passion, but then, you know, I loved the ability to be able to create something out of nothing. So the passion grew from there, from my experience at the Universal Studios of Art. My passion grew, and I knew I wanted to do this as a profession. I saw the likes of, so Mr. Abion Olaku is my mentor, is one of my mentors now. I met my art daddy, Mr. Ejo Wallace. Sorry, Mr. Edosa Guigo. Mr. Edosa Guigo is my art daddy, sorry. I met him and I saw paintings. Like, you can see the way I saw paintings that made me like, what? I want to be like this. Yes. I met people. Yes. I met people. I met people. I can still remember like yesterday. I just knew I wanted to be here. And you know, we learned there that it's a profession. So like, people do not see art as a profession. They see it as a hobby. It is not. True. So the idea changed from there, and that was where the passion, I don't want to jump the gun, that was where the passion, my passion started, practically, from the Universal Studios of Arts, from meeting Mr. Ejo Wallace as my instructor. Man, that man.
The passion with which you're even telling the stories. I know what that cannot say,
Mr. Ejo Wallace taught me. He taught me. So I feel like my passion also to teach people came from him. Yes, being taught by him. Because he taught me, really, especially my drawings. I can actually attribute it to how he taught me.
It's also very beautiful that you're able to, you know, reflect on the process or on the work that's needed to be put into this, and still have that same excitement towards it. Because a lot of times, what is most prevalent amongst us young people is that we don't wait for the work to be done yet. So we expect our results to come like ASAP. Like, why is it that I'm doing this thing and it's not working, you know? As opposed to, we can see the time it has taken from 100 level when you couldn't even draw a circle to being doing working during your IT time and staying overtime and even taking, because you could work out. You could that Mr. Ejewalis could have told you to stay back and you could say no, and
Yeah.
you could have
Yes.
gone. There was no gun to your head that says you should stay back. So that was really beautiful. Now that leads me to the question of mentorship. What's your opinion on mentorship when it comes to honing skills that are relevant for our profession or for our chosen path?
You can't do without mentors. And you know, it's a problem right now in this generation. People are seeing the older generation as being too much. You don't understand it when it's just like you have a father. Your father has more experience. You may have more money than your father. You do not have his experiences. So in our generation right now, in our space, now I'm talking in the art space because that's what I know. That's the information I have. It's a problem. There's a problem of mentorship, or should I say lack of mentorship. People do not want to be mentored anymore. Yeah, people do not want to be mentored anymore. So, but what happens is you can only rise on the shoulders of your mentors. So even in my practice, to maybe some artists who are younger, who are newer than I am, would see my works and feel like, this person does not need any correction. This person doesn't. So there are still times I have mentors. Like I do not have one mentor. I don't have two mentors. I have mentors. I said Mr. Ejo Wallace. I have Mr. Edosa Obigo. I have Mr. Abiodun Laku. I have Mr. Ibiananaba. I have Mr. Kelani Abbas. 4 mentors that I keep in contact with anytime I'm stuck. I have friends who are like sounding boards. I have Opeyemi Olukotu. I have Akintomide Aluko. All these people are artists. I have Akintomide Aluko. I have Raji Mohammed. Those 3 people are my sounding boards. So when you see a successful art or a successful career, it doesn't just happen.
Of course.
It doesn't just. So there are times when I walk, like there are times when I am like in a space because every creative goes through it. You are in a space of self-doubt sometimes. You are in a space where you just have the creative's block. Like it happened to me. You need people you can talk to. You need people you can ask questions. You need people who, when you do these experiments, you can just send to them. So what do you think about this? Do you think I'm right? Mr. Ibe just gave me a push recently. He's my mentor. I just sent him messages and he just, okay, Tolu do this, Tolu do this, Tolu do this, Tolu do that. The sky is your starting point. You don't be scared. Don't just do it this way. Mr. Kelani Abba spoke to him on WhatsApp. Oh, sir, what do you think about this painting? Do you think this body of work will thrive? Do you think? He called me. Okay, do like, if as a creative or as anybody in any profession, you do not have mentors, you're going to dry up faster than you can imagine. You need mentors, you need friends in that same sphere, in that same space, who can be your sounding board. And at times when you see things going on there are trending matters going on, and you're feeling like, is there a market for my kind of art? Is there still a market for or all the people have moved to this trendy art? So when I feel that way, sometimes I have a video call with my friends, Okwe and Akin, and we talk. We just talk, we speak to ourselves. You need that. So I'm a believer I would always have mentors. I would always add to my mentors. I just added Mr. Ibe to my list of mentors, and he knows I'm stuck. I'm calling you. That is what you're there for. Mr. Edosa is my daddy. So any day, anytime, those are my mentors. Mr. Ibe Ananaba, Mr. Abiodun Laku, Mr. Kilani Abbas. You need mentors. I can't stretch it. You need mentors.
Very important. And now that you talk about mentorship, something just came to my mind. I was listening to a podcast some time ago, and someone talked about non-visual, non-obvious mentors. So, and in that conversation, they were talking about how that there are people you learn stuff from that are not necessarily in your field or giving you direct
Yeah.
advice or direct information, but you're just gleaning from
Yeah.
there. Probably you're picking up something from them on the aspect, maybe their work
Yeah.
ethic, or maybe the way they handle
Yeah.
situations in their personal life, and all of that. What do you think is the importance of some of these non-visual mentors in the life of a young artist?
Yeah, I think because we have people like that on social media right now. You
Mm-hmm.
just listen sometimes for life lessons. I
Mm-hmm.
personally read, not creative books. I read a lot. And if you're someone who reads, if you don't read, you maybe listen,
Mm-hmm.
you glean advices, you glean words of wisdom from these things, and it helps you move on, it helps you move along, it helps you build mental stability, it helps you build strength of character, because you
Yeah,
need all these things in your profession. passion
exactly.
passion would never be enough.
Of course, of course.
Passion would
If it was enough, everyone would be great.
Yes. So even for people who are not in your profession, they can also be your mentors. And you do not have to be close to them. Not all mentors. I have mentors who I'm not close to also, even in my profession. Dina Brodsky, I have them. Jennifer Christian. I just watch them. I learn from them. I pick one or two things and I
Yeah.
put in my own work. I'm also out there, and I read a lot. I think that's my own way. I read a lot. So
It's really, really impressive how, in fact, it's even much more impressive how we're able to absorb a lot of information without even knowing
yeah.
it. Maybe you see your parents wake up in the morning, go to work, you just somehow absorb that knowledge that you should stand up and go out, because this is how you make bread for yourself. This is how you go and get your 2K.
Yeah, yes. So yes.
And all of that. So let's talk about when you realize that this passion, there's money in it, so we can turn it to a business. Because you touched briefly on it earlier as to the points when you realize that this is it, this is what you're going to be doing as a profession. So let's talk about it.
Okay. So when I realized that I could turn it to money.
Yeah, when you realize that this drawing thing you can turn it to a business. It can be the path that you're choosing to
Okay,
go.
so when I decided to do art as a career, it wasn't about the money for me initially.
Right.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to point out that in the creative space, basically, we have people who are coming up now who are just after the money, the fame, and recognition. For art, it's never, well, for me, let me speak for myself. So for me, when I decided that this was going to be a profession for me, it was still embedded in my passion for it. It wasn't about money. Even till now, I was talking to my friend this morning, Taiwo, and I was telling him about how he was telling me that my case is a classic creative case where my passion, is what I'm doing, right? My work is not for money. So my husband talks about it and says, do you ever think about the business part of this thing? It feels like you just create just to create,
Okay.
not to sell. So what I believe is, first, as a creative, strive towards growth, improvement. It's a profession. Okay, so it's a profession. E.g., say I am a data analyst. Is the first thing that I go after money, or being at a point where I'm competitive with a fellow data analyst so that I am more employable? Isn't that it? As a project manager, I learn all the skills. I get all the certificates, for example. Why am I getting all the certificates? So that I have a better employability, right?
Cool.
But now when we come to the creative aspect, you see young people coming up now. They are drawing celebrities. Why? I always advise people in my circle, don't do that. Please, don't go join any celebrity. All you're going to get is your 2 seconds of fame, not even 5 minutes. They won't pay you. And if they pay you, that's not your value. So you need to move from a place where the first thing you're concentrating on is improvement, growth. When you grow to a particular level, money would come. Recognition.
Exactly.
The first thing that will come is recognition. You think people are not watching? People are looking at you. I've had someone I met, I didn't know. Okay, so because I model, I'm also an artist model. A lot of my mentors have painted me. A lot of my colleagues have painted me. I'm an artist model. So 2015 or 16, I met someone at Universal Studios of Art. I was preparing my canvas to work, and an elderly man, he's a collector, a top class collector, and he just called my name. I didn't know him. Tolu. Oh, I said, good afternoon, sir. Are you? He said, oh, I didn't know you were an artist. I said, yes, I'm an artist. He said, because I have your paintings in my collection. I have paintings of you. No, he said, I have paintings of you in my collection. That means people who have painted me, he has them in his collection. That he didn't know I was an artist. He just thought I was an artist model. So I said, I am. Do you understand? Do you know what he told me? That was 2015 or 16. He said, I'm watching you. Now, there are people in the creative space, they are stakeholders. We call them stakeholders. They're curators, the art dealers, the gallery owners, who would not buy one work from an artist that has anything less than 10 years of practice.
Oh, wow.
What does that mean? They're watching how much you've grown. One, they're watching your consistency. You think they're not following you. They're watching you. They'll just go to your social media page. They're just looking at your growth. How consistent is this person? How much has this person grown, rather? What is this person chasing after? Leave the money. It's a profession. Now, so it's a profession. I used to, I don't know if you can feel by fire. I used to be really angry at people who used to ask me, okay, oh, you're an artist. Okay, so what do you do? Do you have a 9 to 5? So I usually have to correct the people. This is my 9 to 5. So just as you wake up, and an artist does not even have a 9 to 5, especially if your studio is like mine in your house. You can wake up in the middle of the night and an idea just pops into your head and you must record it immediately.
You're creative every time.
Yes, so you record it immediately. So this is my 9 to 5. I'm doing a lot of mental work. Do you understand? So if you see that as your profession, your career, look at other people in other aspects in their career. What do they do first? They invest in personal growth. Do the same as a creative. Go to workshops, buy books in areas where you feel you have challenges. Is it drawing? Is it in color mixing? Is it in painting? Whatever. Buy books. There are books. I just bought a drawing book earlier this year. I love drawing. Oh, I love drawing. And I've not even started reading it. I buy courses on Domestika from people, artists that I respect. Once I see them on Domestika, I buy their course and I go through those courses, drawing courses, painting courses, watercolor, this one, things that interest you. You learn. So the first thing, it's not money. I always like to tell people, leave that money first. It's difficult. I understand that it's difficult. Do you understand? But what's going to be okay? So someone sent me a message to ask for my counsel. Says she has not made money from art in a long time. Someone told her from the US to send her paintings, and the person asked her a question: "Send me your best." Do you know what it means for you to send someone who is a prospective buyer your body of works, and the person tells you, "Send me your best"? That's a message to you. So I told her, I said,
I want to send to them is not good enough.
So I told her, it means you've concentrated on the wrong thing. So the first thing I'm going to tell you right now, go back to your drawing book, buy your sketchbooks, just draw, leave the money alone. If you need to do a side business, I told her, if you think that, okay, you do not have any other source of income, you need a source of income to be able to buy these materials, you can start a business. You can have it, you can sell something. That money push it into your art, into the improvement of this art. It shows that this can't be your profession, your career yet, because you have not grown to the point where it's sellable. So you have to grow to that point. Growth is important, and the only way growth can come is by consistency
and commitment to that.
Yes, don't follow the trends, because after when the trend goes or the trend shifts, what does that leave you with, and where does that leave you? So we see a lot of people following trends and paintings and all things now. It doesn't give you a sense of identity. So what's your sense of identity? So we need to push that as creatives in finding our profession. For a creative, learning should never stop. Practice should never stop. You don't practice, your wrist gets stiff.
Yes.
So I'm speaking as a visual artist, as someone who draws, who paints. You keep practicing so your wrist does not get stiff.
It applies to every other field, really.
Yes.
Whatever you keep working on, you think about it. A doctor was saying, I listen to a lot of podcasts, so most of my references are all who were invited for, but these guys are usually professionals in their own right. And this doctor was talking about a mental dementia. In fact, I've been talking about it recently with a lot of people after listening to that. And he was talking about how that because now in this age and time where we have computers and we have our phones and everything, a lot of people now don't do simple things like memorizing numbers or trying to remember the route to a certain place by road. We need to use Google Maps, and all of that. And he was saying how that it's part of the reason to support how if you don't do things over and over again, you begin to lose the ability to do those things. Yeah, and it looks like he said suddenly start saying, I'm not good with numbers. Meanwhile, that's not true. It's because I remember the guy that was saying it, the doctor guy, the brain doctor guy, Kiwi something. Now something is Kiwi is in his name anyway. And that was what he was talking about. So I do agree with what you're talking about, consistency and commitment to that consistency. But then I also spoke with someone recently, and we talked about should we do things for money or should we do things because we love to do those things? And now we're talking about how that it's important that you're not focusing on the financial aspect of it, but you're focusing on development. But then this guy had a different take, and I wanted to hear your take on it as well. His take was that he doesn't mind if money is your aim. You want to make money from this, but then you should be willing to put in the work that gives you the ability to be able to earn that money. So if you are saying that I want to go into this business, and I want to go into this business because I want to make money from it, you should not expect to make the money tomorrow morning. As long as you are willing to spend. If it is 10 years that is required to develop to the point where you're able to make that money, then you should be willing and ready to invest that 10 years and then get to the point where now finally you are making the money. So let's assume that the money is your own motivation, but it is getting you to do what is needed to be done. So what do you think of that line of thought?
Okay, so I feel like he just came in another way. I think that's almost exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Will the money come? Have I made money from art or not? I have. Do you understand? It gives you joy because apart from the fact that, this means that they love what I'm doing. Do you understand? There's money to buy materials and all. Now, the reason I agree, like, you would make money eventually. That is what I am saying. But when you make money, the first point of call, there won't be room for improvement.
True, very true.
No room for improvement because what you're chasing is money. So in that space, you're myopic in your view. You have just one. Your view is one-sided. Money. So what's trending? And that's what happened. Well, that's what's happening a lot. So because money, you see a young artist that just started painting 2 years ago or 3 years ago, saying, "Ma, exhibition. How are you people making money from this thing? Which exhibition is there? Let us put." It's not haven't you gone to places where you go for exhibitions? That exhibition is not even for sales of artwork. You will see it there. It's just for you to interact with the creative process of the artist. So when money is the first point of call, and I think that's what the person you're talking about too is trying to say, that you want to make money, but be ready to grow into making that money. Because really, truly, okay, wait, I have something to offer. Say I bring this book, and I'm telling you that I'm selling this book like this for 10 million naira. Are you not going to ask me, what am I buying for 10 million? What is this?
For what?
Yeah. So say, for example, now, I now say start looking for exotic shells. I travel to places. When I go to places, I'm collecting shells. I'm putting in the work. It's work to start searching for shells. Oh, go to the beach to do. And I embroidered this book with those exotic shells that you will never find anywhere. But it took me, say, 2 years, 3 years, and I present it to you. Even I that I am presenting it to you, I have no doubt about what I am presenting. Because I will tell you that you can't find these shells anywhere in the world. And 10 million is my money. But what am I charging you 10 million for? I'm not charging you 10 million because you can go to those places. I'm charging you 10 million for my creative idea to have done this.
True.
And that is how it is also for creative. So let money not be the first thing. Ask people who have gone ahead of you in this craft. My art daddy, Mr. Edosa, was in the advertising industry, and he decided to leave. He was making good money, and he decided to leave for art. Now people are making good money in art. When they started, they paved the way for us. When they started, they weren't making good money. Their works were even being stolen. Mr. Olaku left working. He left his work for the government. He was working for the government, and
he left it for art.
Yes.
Oh, so as in so much hope.
Oh yeah. So you need to talk to these people. Art in itself is a rich man's career. You need money to buy, especially because of the economy at the moment. Materials are expensive, so that is understandable. That is why I tell people, if you're a lady, can you sell things? Can you sell clothes? Can you sell, so that's a side business for you? I do not believe that you can have that, especially if you do not have any other source of income. You need to buy materials, and you're not selling at the moment, and you need to create the works to sell. But you're not even at the point where you can get people who would buy your art for good value. So at this point now, I can sell a painting of 16 by 23 for £1,000, and you won't raise your eyebrow because I have grown into it. I've sold paintings of 20,000. I've dashed people paintings, but I've grown to a point where now I've sold a painting of £1,000. I have grown into it. I've had how many years? I started practicing professionally in 2014. This is 2023. So it didn't start to...
It's not just a blink. It's not overnight.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So don't put money first. Know that money would come eventually. But that money would follow your growth, your consistency in that. People are watching. I always like to say that thing. You think people don't see, people are seeing. Even you go back to your work, and that's another thing I tell people to gauge. I do it. I go back to my drawings of 2012, and this year I laugh. How could I have thought that in 2015, even 2017? How could I have thought that in 2017 somebody would have bought this painting for 300k? Am I a thief? Am I a thief? So don't put money first. The money would come eventually. You can go in it because you want to make money, because you heard that there's money in art. Go into it. But gauge your expectations. Gauge your expectations.
Yeah. This gauge your expectation is very profound, because, for example, for us in the architecture field, a lot of architects, a lot of we young architects are always like, these people, they are billing. They're telling me to pay. They are going to pay like 50,000 for drawing. They hold me. I went to university like 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, all of that. And these guys are coming to charge me so amount of money. Or you have some job openings where somebody will say, the salary is like maybe 150k or 200k. Somebody saying, that money is too small. I cannot collect that kind of money. And I had said this. I didn't use this exact words of gauging your expectations, of course, but I had said in one of those platforms that you cannot be expecting more than you can deliver. if you then everyone has their level. You cannot be saying, I know somebody that is earning 400,000 monthly. Can you deliver what that person can
Yeah.
deliver? So if you are saying we spent 5 years in school, yes, the person spent 5 years in school, but the person probably spent an extra 5 years that you didn't spend putting in the work at the back, behind the scenes, and when they see both of you, the quality of work is definitely not the same thing, because if you have gotten to the stage where with your full chest you can build somebody like say 50K for one view of a render, you by yourself you will know that you have gotten there.
Yeah.
Nobody will tell you.
Yes.
You confidently build the person without even though of course
guilty.
sometimes
Without feeling guilty. Yes.
Even though sometimes this imposter syndrome thing happens where you don't you put as much value on yourself as is uh, as it's supposed to be, but that's even a different conversation entirely. As opposed to when you are overvaluing yourself, beyond what
And a
beyond
lot of
what you can
people do that.
absolutely deliver.
A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that right now in the generation of creatives that we are churning out now. You see,
True.
And it's sad, because sometimes I wonder that in the next decade, 2 decades, 3 decades from now, what kind of art are we going to be seeing? It's sad. We have a lot of lazy creatives now, where all they want is the money.
Yeah.
Not the growth. They don't want to go selling. This is what is selling now. Let's do it.
Let's just do it.
Let's just put it on Instagram. Somebody will buy it. Let's do it. All these, the galleries. I think the galleries also have a part to play in that. The galleries, the curators also have a part to play in it, actually. Yes. So
what are they allowing to go through the doors?
Yes, but at the end of the day, for posterity's sake, the artist is going to suffer the most.
Let's talk about career opportunities in visual arts. What are the career opportunities that are available? Because what is most common for us laymen like us is that somebody paints and sells paintings. But I also know that that's not just all there is to it. So what are the various career opportunities that are available in this field that you would advise a young aspiring artist to look into considering?
Okay. Yes. So first is you decide first. Do you want to be, so in visual arts, we have the fine and the applied arts. The fine art is painting and sculpture. So the applied art is the ceramics, the graphics, textile designs. Under it's a wide branch. Under the textile designs, you can go into textile sustainability. You can go into adire making, print making. You can do a lot of things with it. You can do bag designs, shoe designs with the textile designs. Under the ceramics, you have people who create toys, ceramic toys, plates, bowls, all sorts, household items. Then graphics design now is like the in thing, because the world is going digital. So yes, as a graphics design, you have the UI UX for the tech people, more techy people. Graphics design, you have all sorts. Adobe Illustrator, you can be an illustrator, you can be a graphic design, deal with Lightroom, help people edit photographs and all that. So there's a lot to do under that. If that's what you like. There's digital painting, and on the sculpture, you have the metal sculptors, you have people who just use clay. There's a lot. Then for painters also, you can decide just to be a draftsman, just to draw. That's all. You have a lot of medium. You have a lot of media to use as a painter. You have people who just paint with oil colors, people who just paint with acrylics, people who just paint with watercolor. There's pastel. There are all sorts. You understand? Now, we come to the stakeholders. You can be a curator. So there are courses you can take. So who is a curator? A curator is someone who helps to put together an exhibition. So a curator is different from a gallery owner. Before, it takes a lot of money for you to become a gallery owner. So that's like the top shot kind of thing. So if you would like to do other things, so you can be an art dealer. What an art dealer does is, maybe you have connect. You have people who have money, who don't just have money, who love art, but who do not have an understanding of the type of art, because that's a problem also. We have a lot of people like that right now. They love art, but they have no understanding of the type of art to invest in. Because art is an investment that Nigerians are not too aware of. Now, so you could buy an art, say for ₦1,000,000 now, and give it time. Say you give it time, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. The artist has made name. The artist's name now has a lot of value. The artist's works has a really, high value to it and all that. And you auction the work and you make 50 times more than how much you bought it. Now, it's not an investment that grows in a day or 2 days. It takes time. So, one, you can be an art dealer. So what an art dealer does is you're a middleman between the artist and the art patron. So you link the artist. The artist does not even have to know the patron, the person who patronizes. Yeah. So an art dealer. So what an art dealer does is an art dealer comes to meet me and say, "Oh, okay," or maybe sees my paintings and asks, "Is this work available?" Yes. How much is it? I say 3 million. The art dealer would ask you, "Let me pay 2 million." So you agree 2 million. The art dealer goes to the patron and sells for 4 million. It's a
business.
It's a win-win situation. So if you would like to do that, and that's a good way to make money, the only thing, build your repertoire. Build your repertoire of patrons. You know that you have, for an art dealer, you need to have people who are lovers of art, who are willing to buy and pay you. Because sometimes an artist would not release the work for you to come back to pay. Some artists would. I have done it. I have released my work for the dealer to pay me later. Do you understand? Some artists would not do that. So an art dealer, that's what an art dealer does. But for an art dealer, what you need to do is be sure you have patrons who are willing to pay, who are true lovers of art and are willing to buy. That's one. Then you need to understand. So the beauty about an art dealer also is you have to be able to lead those people who do not understand the type of art to invest in. To help them know the type of art to invest in. That's number one. Then you have the curator. So what does a curator do? A curator works hand in hand with galleries. Okay. So you can be an independent curator. You do not have to be working for a gallery, so to say. So if you're an independent curator, all you have to do is, okay, you curate exhibitions for an artist. So say there's an artist you're really interested in, you would like for the artist to have an exhibition. You do not work for any gallery. So you walk up to a gallery you're sure can give the right what do we call it now? Exposure. Yes, and all that is a good place where that gallery themselves have good patrons who can come in. So it's on the curator now. So the curator and the artist will decide on how many percentage the curator takes off every work. Usually it's for some people it's 60-40, the artist takes 60, the curator takes 40. For some people it's 65-35. That's yes, the curator takes 35. So the curator works with the gallery owners or the gallery, creates an exhibition you have a successful exhibition. So the beauty, the point in that is, so if the artist doesn't sell so much, it still doesn't affect the 65%, 35%. The curator and the artist still takes whatever it is that's sold. So in that case, what you do is the gallery going to be taking an upfront payment for you using their space, or they are also going to be taking a commission? So you see, there's a lot. Now we have the gallery owners. So for you to be a gallery owner, you must have, you need a space. You need it's like an office. It's a lot that is going to, so you can be a gallery owner. You can work in a gallery, not just as a curator. You can work in a gallery as different things. There are different operations that go on in a gallery. You can work for a gallery. So if that's a career you would like to, you love art, but you do not want to practice art. For that, you can be an accountant. You may have studied accounting and work for a gallery as the gallery's accountant. So there are different arms, there are different aspects, and we call them stakeholders because they are stakeholders. Do
Yeah.
you understand? So
They're all
yes,
making money from the art.
yeah. So it's a beautiful, like, branches. You have different branches of tree under the creative sphere where you can be a part of. You can be an art instructor. You practice, but you also love to teach. There's that also. So it's different things. So you just choose what you want to be, and ensure you're good at it.
Yeah.
That's
It's impressive that there are lots, of course, with every profession, there are like a million and one things that one can, not up to a million, but
yeah.
there's so many things that one can do, to be a part of that system.
Yes.
And because before now, like you've said before, art is not something anyone talks about as a big deal. We've always seen artists as people who are struggling. I used to have one. In fact, there was this guy close to our area there. When my father was telling me, you can never be an artist. But he used to use the guy as an example for me. He would say, is this the way that guy is running up and down with his short knickers? That's what you want to be doing. That was the skewed perspective that we had of artists, but now things are changing. People are getting better informed as to how big this industry is and how profitable it is, and so it's really good that we're able to know this, and we continue the educating people more on these things. So this interview is very important. It is important. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot. Okay, let's talk about trends. You said now that there are some trends that people are just jumping into, any trends that just come out just because they want to make the money off it. While I understand that art is personalized, at least from my understanding of my small uninformed understanding, is that both the creation and appreciation of art is very personalized. So I don't believe that there's a generalized trend for all of these spheres of art. But then I also reckon that there might be some things that cuts across board, regardless of what kind of art you're creating. So let's use visual arts, for example, with painting and all of that. What would you say is the trend, in quotes, that cuts across board that you would encourage young artists to keep their pulse on?
None.
Interesting. Let us hear it.
Okay, so sorry, as a side comment, my mentor just joined us, Mr. Biodun Olako. He's a master
Welcome,
artist.
Mr. I'm supposed to ring
Thank you, sir,
bells
for
for you.
joining. Then my
Welcome,
friend
sir.
Funke just joined. Welcome, sir. None.
Okay.
The reason I am saying none is over time, over the years, and I heard this from Mr. Olako, funny thing. So if you check my page, he actually spoke about it, about trends. Over time, from generations, we have seen trends have happened, they've come and they've gone. Don't jump on any trend if you want, but I want advice. You're asking me what trend that cuts across board would I? None. Because trends are what trends are. They come and they go. And like I said earlier, so when the trends come and go and you're stuck in that space, where is your identity? If you see an Abiodun Laku painting anywhere, if you're someone who is familiar with art, you do not have to see signature. You say that's an Olaku. If you see a Grillo painting anywhere, if you're aware of it, you say that's a Grillo. You see an Oshinowo anywhere. You see people would come boldly and say, oh, I have an original Oshinowo. You're sitting on money. My first encounter with art ever was through Baba Ojekere. He's late. I don't know, people in the photography sphere would know him, but he used to be the best photographer in West Africa. Baba Ojekere introduced me to art. So the first Ben Enwonwu painting I saw at the Tutu was in his office. He asked me, because I told him I wanted to study art when I decided to study art. You know, I actually said, have you read anything on what you're saying you want to study? I said, no. Do you have any idea of who the artists in Nigeria are, who are the master artists? I said, no. This was 2007. I said, no. So he asked me, he pointed at the Adetutu to painting. Do you know what painting that is? I said no. I was so embarrassed that day. He said, whatever. He introduced me to the first Ndidi, to the first Ben Emu. That is what I'm saying. So imagine that these people had followed trends. Now the trends have gone. So the trends have gone. How do we pick out? How do we pick you out of all the trends? Okay, so right now it's black art. It's black art at the moment.
What's
There's a lot of artists.
black art?
Yes, so there's a lot of artists. It's a trend right now. Black art, where the figure, the human, like, we're painting people with black color. You know it. Now
I'm seeing it everywhere.
you're seeing it everywhere now. So the challenge with following trend is, if I put 10 painters, if I present to you the paintings from 10 painters and ask you, so pick out, say, let me use my name, so pick out a Tolu Mustafa for me. I doubt that you would be able to pick up my painting from everything, because we are all familiar. We are all similar, rather.
Yeah.
So I would not advise, if you come to me for an advice, say, what's the trend going on? What trend can I follow? I'll tell you none. Because the challenge also, what that does also is it restricts you. It's restricting. You're restricted. Yeah. There's no room for growth. There's no room to be better. There's no room to explore. And as an artist, you need to keep exploring. You need to keep exploring as an artist, because the way the creative mind, at least my creative mind, the way it works is sometimes you find yourself in a hole, kind of, you're trying to figure things out. You're trying to figure things out. Is this what coming out the way I want it? You're trying to figure things out. And in the period where you're trying to figure it out, because if you're not someone who has followed trend, you can move into something. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm drawing a lot. I'm trying to explore. I'm doing some experiments. So I'm in a period where I'm stuck. But because I can delve into another thing, I can decide to start painting just pastels till I figure out how to move forward in this experiment I'm doing. I'm drawing a lot. And for an artist, the basis for you as an artist is the ability to be able to draw.
Of course.
It's the ability. So you see, another thing about following trends is it tells me you're lazy. I'm sorry. Now, it's my opinion. It does not have to be, accepted by people, but I'm just saying my opinion. It tells me you're lazy. It tells me you're not ready to grow or willing to grow. You're scared of introspection, self-introspection. And a creative must never be scared of self-introspection. As a creative, you must never be scared of criticism, constructive criticism. You must never be scared of that.
True.
So I won't tell you to follow any trend, because it's for I always say, we see Michelangelo, we hear the name Michelangelo today, we hear the name Picasso today, we hear names of these artists today. Yes, people would say, oh, there were movements. We had the Fauvism, we had Fauvism, we had the Impressionists, we had the Expressionists, we had the Dadaists, we had all sorts of movements. But it wasn't like a trend. It was just a people who brought. Even in Nigeria, we had the Zaria rebels, the likes of Baba Bruce Onobrakpeya and his cohorts. That was not a trend. They didn't follow a trend. They tried to break free from a particular way that they were constrained to work under. And it produced masters that we are still looking up to. So if we follow trends, how do we become masters of our craft?
True, because we are just floating. We are just anywhere, wherever the wind goes.
Say the market now moves from black art, and the people from the Western world who have influenced us to tell our stories this way. Because what you are as an artist is a teller of stories. You choose to tell your story the way you want to tell it, not the way the world tells you to tell it. Not the way a set of people tell you to tell it. I have a problem. I'm sorry. I have a problem with the black art because it reminds me so much of the black face, and it's racist for me. So it affects me. So I actually there's a picture that comes to my mind anytime I see some type of black art. I don't know if you're aware of blackface.
Yeah.
It was, yes, in the American history. It was racist. Do you understand? Painting a white man with, yes. So it reminds me too much of blackface. So it doesn't say, but generally with trends outside of the black arts, generally with trends. Do you understand? How then do you make your impact for posterity, for the sake of posterity? How then do I come back in 100 years and see your work and say, I know this person. This is an Edosa Ogugu. I know this painting. I know this hand. This is distinct. Do you understand? So that's for me. That's it. I won't advise you. I have no trend. I'll tell you to follow. I'll tell you, just discover your own style. Discover your own style and don't shift.
Yeah.
Don't shift. Grow. Rather grow in it. Evolve in it. There's room for evolution. But discover, be sure of it. That is what you can come out boldly defend. That's
It's very sound advice. I do agree with it, especially with this black art thing you talked about now. Funny enough, there was a time I was saying in my mind, I didn't tell anyone, that I was just saying in my mind that this style of drawing is everywhere now. Like, it's not even irritating for me, because I'm like, even when you open Canva, is there. So I don't even need to even pay someone to even do that kind of art, in my opinion, anymore. If I just open Canva, I can come up with something like that, you know. It has become so ordinary in my eyes for me. But then I don't say it out, because I also understand that every work that people do and that people deliver on, it takes a lot for them to do it, regardless of how they go about it. And also, I don't tell anyone who does that, but it just in my own mind, I'm always like, can we do something else? I'm tired of seeing this. It applies the same thing. It applies also to architecture for me, for example, where I see the same thing. It's almost like every architect is building and designing the same way. Yeah, you go to every house, it's the same thing. You go to every, you see every room, it's the same thing. There's nothing that makes it distinct. And while I was still in Nigeria, I was working with Kachez. I don't know if you know Kachez. You might not know them. I was very happy working with them because they were different. If you see any of their building, you know that this building is Kachez that did it. In fact, it didn't make sense to me at the time, because I had just finished school recently, and everywhere we go to, we went past a building, someone would say, Nakacha do that house, Nakacha do that house, because you can almost tell, you know, that these guys, they have their own unique way of working. And my boss helped a lot. I really appreciate the man. He did a lot with teaching me personally to understand that you don't need to solve every problem with the same solution that has been available all the while. You can solve the problem from your own unique perspective. You know, makes that work stand out much more, as opposed to doing the German style of solving every problem with the same templates, you know.
Yeah. I also feel like the thing about trend you just dropped is no room for creative growth. There's no room for your creative process to grow and flourish.
Yeah, true. So we're already taking so much. I've taken so much of your time. I don't want to take so much.
It's fine.
But I'm enjoying this conversation. It's going really, really good. I hope you're enjoying it as well.
I am actually. I am.
So let's talk about pursuing your passion. How has this affected your overall fulfillment for your own life?
Okay, so I feel so for me, I'm fulfilled because I'm able to do something I love. It's not everybody who went to study what they love in school who had the opportunity to be able to practice.
Very true.
Yes, so to be able to do that, and I think another thing I find fulfilling is to be able to, so at the Universal Studios of Arts, I'm still a member of the Universal Studios of Arts, even though I don't stay in Nigeria, but I am a proud member of the Universal Studios of Art because, you know, a lot of my growth came from being a member, a part of the Universal Studios of Arts. So at the Universal Studios of Arts, I also have the privilege, when I was in Nigeria, anytime I'm in Nigeria, I have the privilege to also interact with younger artists who can relate with when I also started. So sometimes I'm able to instruct them when I'm in the drawing classes. Do you understand? And to help them, to instruct them. I find that fulfilling. It's something I'm still going to do in life, to lecture art.
Oh, nice.
Something I still want to do, lecture art or instruct people, young people art, especially people who didn't have the talent when they were growing up, like me. To be able to let them know that you can learn it and be very good at it. All you have to do is put in your best. So I find that quite fulfilling. You know, I find it fulfilling to be able to meet people. When in the Universal Studios of Art, we have a lot of IT students who come who have no idea what they're doing. And what we have found out is it's deteriorating, because what's happening now is, out of 100 students would come, say 100 students would come, 99 of them didn't choose to study fine arts. They were given the course. So you see a type of belligerent behavior and attitude towards the profession. And you know, the way we react to it, so sometimes you're able to tell them, to help them, some of them, you're able to help them set their head straight. And I still have my old drawings kept in the studio in Nigeria, so that sometimes also when I'm telling them, if I have the pictures on my phone, I show them that, see my drawing when I came here for my IT. Does this drawing look like the drawing I am doing today? I am drawing and you people are standing behind me and looking at my drawing, and you're wondering, you must be thinking that this was how I started. No, this was where I started. I started just like you. Some of you could even draw better than I could draw. So I find that quite fulfilling. Even now while I'm away, sometimes when I do something, some people would ask me, because another challenge for me as a woman in the arts industry is that I have a family.
Yeah.
So if I find it fulfilling, let me tell you why I find that fulfilling. As a younger artist, when I was still younger, you know, I heard it a lot that as a woman, not much is expected of you in the creative space. Not much is. You are not expected to be good, to be that good. You are excused, practically excused, if you can just do the barest minimum. It used to vex me. Like,
because why?
So you know, I used to work at beating that. I remember another thing that actually really spoiled me. I don't know if you can still remember, was just immediate, I think it was during my IT. So we had an assignment. They would give us an assignment to copy the masters. So the master I copied, I can't remember, but I still have the painting I copied. Mr. Abiodunlaku walked behind me and saw that painting and said, let me hear that you do not practice this art. You will see what I will do to you. And I held on to that thing he said. I held on to it so much that in spite of hearing that you cannot do art, I heard it. I would hear people say things like, once a woman marries,
that's the end.
That's the end. When you start having children, you can also just do the one you can do now, because when you marry, you don't finish. So I find
very annoying, by the way.
I find fulfillment in the fact that I have 2 boys, both of them under 5. And you know, it's just a matter of me being able to balance family and my work. I'm not saying it's going to be as easy for you as a woman who has a family, as easy as it is going to be for someone who does not have a family, woman who does not have a family. You're able to fully concentrate. But if it's a profession for you, one you are passionate about, like I am, you're going to always put in the time, whatever the time you have, put in the time and ensure that you bring out the best. So I find it fulfilling that I am able to still have the ability to practice and be a source of inspiration for women like me. I think for me that's the
biggest reward. And I hope you are really able able to get back into the lecturing field, because it's very, very important that people who pass on knowledge to the next generation are those who are really, really passionate about what they do. They're not just doing it as a job. You know, a lot of teachers that we have, lecturers, they are doing that because it's that's what they could do,
Yeah.
not for any fault of theirs, maybe, but that's just what they could do. They're not doing it because they really want to do this. So I feel it's very important that those who are passing knowledge are those who are really passionate about the profession and also passionate about passing knowledge.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to be passionate about the profession and being passionate about passing the knowledge
Yeah.
that you already have. Yeah, not everyone is good with that. So how would you advise, we're coming to the end of the of the interview now, how would you advise a young person who is starting out as a visual artist, who maybe even the person didn't even go to the university to study art, but let's assume that the person discovered at some point that they love this and this is something they would want to do at some point. So what would you advise such a person?
Learn. Don't stop
Right,
learning.
the capital letters everywhere.
Learn. Don't stop learning. The day you stop learning, you start to fail, and that's the truth. Your mind must be open. As a young visual artist, yes, you didn't study arts. Do you understand? Learn, go to places. We have Universal Studios of Art. I think if you are watching us at the moment, you're in Lagos, or you have someone you can stay with in Lagos, you have the opportunity to be in Lagos, just go to Universal Studios of Art. We take on people for executive training. Those are people who did not study art as their first degree, but find out that they have the passion to become artists. Go there. You have all the resources to learn. If you can't be in Lagos, look for an artist in your location that knows how to teach, that can teach you. Learn. Learn. Buy books, buy sketch pads, start drawing things you see. Take pictures, draw. That's another thing. Practice. Not just learning, practice. You must keep practicing. It's important to practice every day. Practice till it becomes your second nature. Practice till it becomes second nature. Those two things, learning and practicing, for a younger artist. Don't be tired of learning. Don't be tired of practicing. If you're sick, the moment you're well, stand up and start practicing again. Because the day you stop, you would feel as though you had never done it before. It would look like, if the masters, for example, Mr. Edosa, I remember anytime Mr. Edosa comes to the studio, the first thing he does the first week, he doesn't start painting. And I learned it from him. My art daddy, I learned it from him. He would buy newsprint, a lot of newsprint. He would send boys. So when he travels, comes to the UK for his short period of training, he goes back to Nigeria, comes to Universal Studios, sends boys newsprint and draws first. For the first week, Mr. Edosa would not paint anything. What's he trying to do? He's trying to get back into the groove. So you keep practicing. And when you practice, it shows in what you do. So keep practicing, learning. And it's important to be consistent. It's important, because if you're not consistent, how then do you grow? Because it's in being consistent, you fail. Mr. Ibe was telling me recently, said, Tolu, don't be scared to fail. Yes, you would have periods of self-doubt, because every master, Mr. Lack will tell me, you think we don't doubt ourselves sometimes too? We do. Jensen, but experience has taught them how to. So that's what we too are learning from them. So that's why you need to be consistent. So that when you're consistent, you've grown to a point where you know that, okay, I just hit a roadblock. I need to park. Relax. Think it through. Till you see a way out of the maze. So for younger artists, don't rush it. You can't, this profession cannot be rushed. It is not like some other professions. You can't rush being a creative. You can't rush being a professional artist. It's a profession. And that it's not a hobby. Someone was telling me she wanted her daughter to learn. And she said, she has a hobby. I stopped. I said, Mommy, I'm sorry. If you want a hobby, I told her, I said, Mommy, I'm sorry. You know, jokingly, if you want a hobby for your daughter, let her go and learn knitting. You can learn how to knit.
Even the knitting, God said, people that are doing the knitting, God, the thing is not.
I told her, I said, no, but art is not a profession. And now then I laid it to her. I said, a tube of oil color, say the student's quality tube. I don't know how much it is right now, but at that time was, I think, 2005 or 3K. Yeah, so I said, Mommy, a tube of oil color is 2005. I can't remember how much it was at that time, but it was around 2000 or 2005. I said, Mommy, a tube of oil color is 2005 for student's quality. We buy the artist professional quality 8,000, 10,000 for one tube. And I'm talking that student quality tube of toothpaste, the artist quality, nothing more than this, the Rembrandt and Co. A pack of professional brushes, a pack of palettes. I buy sketch pads because I like to sketchbook a lot. I buy sketch pads. My canvas. We spent a lot of money. I said, Mommy, it's a profession. I am a professional artist. I have my studio. It's called The Workshop. I am a professional artist. It's not if you want a hobby for your daughter, you need to search somewhere else. But right here, we are professionals. So to be a professional artist, practice, be open to learn, be consistent in that craft, and be with your mentors. You need mentors. You can't do it alone. If you think you can do it alone, you're on a long time.
Yeah, very, very, very true. Before we come to the final, and wanted to know if you have any success story that you can share with us about any student of yours, anyone at all. Because now you've told us about your mentors. Now I don't know their names.
Don't mind me. Yes, you must know the names
it's
of
also been nice.
who have been
It's very important that we have mentors and that they know that we appreciate them, you know, because they do a lot for us. They help us in such a way that we don't make the mistakes that they've made. So they've taken away years of errors from our life. So it's also important that we appreciate them and they know that we appreciate them.
Yes.
So, but then it will also be nice that we're able to also encourage those who we have mentored to say, this person has been good, even though we know maybe you have like so many of them, but someone that just comes to mind off the top of your head and you say, this, I can see you, I know that you are doing well.
Okay, so one person comes to my mind, and the reason he always comes to my mind is sometimes when I see his posts, I get a little emotional. I don't tell him all the time, but recently he had a solo exhibition in London and it was a massive success. Then I sent him an Instagram. I sent him a DM and I told him, I said, one day we are going to tell our story. So Sam, his name is Sam, and Samson Bakari. And when I was in Universal Studios of Art in 2012 for my IT, we were living together on the same street in K2. And a friend of mine brought him to me. I didn't know him. He knew me from church. That Samson Bakari knew me from church. So he brought him to me. My friend Akim brought Samson to me and said, okay, so he was still in secondary school and said, this boy likes to draw. He likes to do this. And he said he has been seeing you, that he knows that you're an artist, but he didn't know how to come and meet you, blah, blah. So I now spoke to him. So I said, let me see your drawings. So I saw some of the drawings. I was like, oh, like there's great potential here and everything that, but the only thing I know, I am going back to school. I had finished IT. The only thing I know is go to Universal Studios of Art. And if you're stuck in any way, call me. I would help you. And when I'm home for holidays, we would walk through things together. And at that time, it was just his dad. He had lost his mom. So it was just him and his dad. So he asked me, how would he tell his dad? I told him what to tell his dad. I said, don't worry. If your dad does not allow you, come and call me. I'll come and meet your daddy. Don't worry. If it's this art, I will. Don't worry. I'll tell your daddy. And you know, we continued that way. He would, whenever I was in Lagos and I went to the Universal Studios, I would see what he was doing. We'll talk, whatever it was, we'd walk through it and all that. And, you know, years down later, he left Universal Studios and he's still my baby boy. But for the past couple of years, I've seen him bloom and grow. So his type of art is entirely different from mine.
Okay.
No, it's totally, entirely. He is more contemporary, not black art. He is more contemporary. And I'm so proud of him because he's also now a sculptor.
Oh,
So
nice.
I am so proud. So I sent him a message. He had his exhibition. Right now, he has an exhibition at the moment in Paris. So
interesting. It's all over the place.
Yes. So he's one of my success stories. But he always comes to my mind because we grew up together in K2. I told him to go to a place and he obeyed. He went there and he stayed there. And I saw his struggles. I can tell his story. I saw his struggles at the point where he didn't have money. So that was what I was saying initially, that if you know you do not have you can't make money from that. See, now this is it. He didn't rush it. His growth is organic. Let your growth be organic. He didn't rush it. He was a good boy at the Universal Studios of Art, and that's the truth of the matter. And Samson worked at the Indomie factory to raise money, to buy materials. He slept in the studio. All the while when he was in Universal Studios, he was living there. So you can't rush it. That's what I'm saying. You can't rush these things. So now his contemporaries would see him now shining, doing the things he's doing now. Man, he didn't get here just like that. So I told him, I said, don't worry, one day we're going to tell our story. We're going to have an Instagram live, and you and I, we are going to share the stories. People need to know. People need to hear. But I'm super proud of him. Then he will tell me, thank you. Anytime I would just say, thank you, mommy, thank you. That's a success story I am proud of. And we have a couple of them. So please, if you're a young artist, don't follow these trends. Ensure you find. Now, he didn't follow any trend. He's in his own right, when you see his painting. Okay, so another story. He was featured on Gucci. He had a painting for Gucci. Oh, yes. So that says be in your own space.
Yeah.
You will create room for yourself. Don't follow. You do not need to follow any trends. Yes, the trends are what? Trendy.
They will leave.
They would leave. So
you can't stand out when you are when you are following a trend. No one, like you said previously, you can't. You're not identifiable.
So Samson is even a really good example for me to make all these points. Stay in that lane, grow in it. Now he's a sculptor. So when he's been exhibited, his paintings are exhibited with his little sculpture pieces, beautiful, excellent sculpture pieces. And I'm always super proud of him. Whenever I just say, I'm like, I'm so proud of this boy. I'm proud of him. I don't tell him every time. But
we need to tell Samson we are proud of him. I'm not meant to, but me, I'm not proud of him.
But I'm usually proud of him. So it's beautiful to see.
Oh, nice. This was a very, very, very rich session. We've learned so much, not just for the field of artistry, but for every other profession that one is doing. Put in the work, don't be in a hurry to make the money, practice, get mentors, the whole, everything is really inspiring to follow through. And we really appreciate you for your time. We know that it's not easy to be here, and coupled with all the things that goes on in one's life. Life is always life. So we really appreciate that you gave us your time. And I'm sorry that it took more than 1 hour, but you're very lovely to talk to.
Thank you. You're lovely to talk to too. And it's a privilege, to be able to pass on this. Oh, someone is saying something. Oh, wow. I shared the studio space with you both 2017, and I can say I love the whole experience. Oh, wow. Thank you.
Testimonies.
Thank you. So it's a privilege actually to be able to pass on this information, and these are conversations that we need to keep having, because we have a lot of younger people coming who need to learn these things, who need to know. The younger generation right now are overshadowed by the fame, what exhibition is going on, what international, especially in Nigeria. All the young artists Nigeria right now want to exhibit in the US, want to exhibit in London, want to exhibit. It's the fame. Nobody's. It's just like a palm tree. You need to grow roots first. You grow roots down, then you bud. So yeah, so the more your root is, down there, you can stand for years. But if all you want right now, I know of people who followed a particular trend whose style changed because of a collector, of a gallery, of curators and all that. And when they moved away from that, when that curator stops collecting you, when that collector stops buying from you, what happens to you? What happens to you?
Back to zero.
You're back to zero. So we need to know that you have roots down. You have roots down there. Forget that your leaves are, maybe you just have just one leaf, that you feel people are just saying that it's just one leaf, and you're looking at other people, plenty leaves, beautiful fruits, beautiful. But when all they need is just a very slight breeze to blow away all the fruits, and a wind would not shake you. We need to have these conversations. The younger people do not want to hear this. You need the fathers. You need the fathers.
Very true.
Whoever has lied to you that you do not need the mentors does not like you. I'm sorry I'm taking longer, but like I've wanted to say this thing for a while. So I used to have a show, The Narrative. I'm planning on bringing it back, but I'm trying to restructure. I'm trying to restructure. But there are conversations, a lot of things are happening right now in the art space in Nigeria that need to be addressed. So there's a man I follow that just gives I think he's in the US, that just gives art advice. And he posted something one day and said, what type of art should I practice? And he says, I practice, as an artist, I practice what I want to practice. Money would meet me there. The market, rather, the market would meet you there. Create. Don't let anybody influence the time. What happened to Art for Art's sake? Really? Why must my art talk about societal? Why must my art talk about society? Why can't I just pick this fruit and paint? Because I just enjoy the view of the fruit. Why can't I just see the landscapes and say, oh, this is beautiful, and just paint? Why must my art talk about slavery? Why must my art talk about people relocating, Jackpa? Why must my art? Why can't my story just be beautiful African women? Why can't my story just be different faces of different expressions? Find that thing that makes you tick. Don't let the society dictate what your craft is going to be. You don't go to a bank and tell a cashier what his profession should be.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't go to what other career. You don't tell a doctor. A doctor decides from day one, I want to be an optometrist, I want to be a dentist, I want to be an OBGYN, and he sticks to it. Do you, as the patient, come to tell the doctor that doctor, ENT malone trend by feel she ENT but that's what's happening to us as artists. I'm sorry I spoke Yoruba. You say you can't go to the doctor and say is the ENT that is bringing money right now. Don't you think you should switch to being an ENT doctor? You make more money from it. But that's what's happening to the younger artists, to our generation of artists right now. Someone comes to you and says, this is what's selling. You leave what makes you tick. You move into it. So when that thing stops selling, what happens to what makes you tick? You find it difficult. It becomes more difficult to go back into it. That's art. Art is possessive. It becomes more difficult to go back into it. So why not just stick to what you do? It may take time. Believe me, it does. You will be discouraged. Don't think that I'm not glossing anything over. It's something I still go through too. I had an exhibition in the UK. It didn't come out the way I expected it to. But what I told myself eventually, that's my first international exhibition. It goes on your CV. Now you know what happens. You know what happens in the UK. I'm new in the UK. I've not spent 2 years, but I've exhibited. That's also a feat.
That's not easy. Do
you understand? So that's also a feat. So in not comparing yourself with, so just make sure that you're growing roots downward. Make sure you're growing. Don't be distracted by the trends. Don't be distracted by the trends. Grow roots downward. Grow. Improve in your skills. So I tell improve. You need to improve. The day you if you feel like you're stuck, then it's time to learn. If you feel like you've peaked, you need to be a self-introspective person. You feel like you've peaked, then it's time for you to learn. It's time for you to, just learn again. Buy books. If you feel it's a book you need, if you feel like you need to go to a workshop, if you feel like you need to talk to your mentor, that's why you need mentors. They help you see through that dark space. This thing.
No one is really ever self-made. Like you really say self-made.
There's no self-made. Those people who are saying they're self-made went to YouTube to study what they're saying. You went to YouTube to study how to be to be a hyper realist. How are you self-made?
No.
You learned how to
you had someone who just gave you something, whether it's an advice or gave you a shot or gave you an opportunity or gave you money to do something, whatever it is. No one is ever really
self-made. You dream about greeting is a lot of mathematical, You didn't sleep and an angel showed you how to do that. So you're not self-made. Nobody is self-made. You didn't study art in school. You learned it after school. That does not make you self-made. That does not make you self-made. There's nobody, no man is self-made.
True.
You learned it on YouTube. You're not self-made.
You're not self-made. True.
No,
true. If there's any self-made person, then the person would have just been born that thing. Just
you brought
come
it
out of your mouth.
You brought it from heaven. So nobody is self-made actually. So we need people, like I have mentioned mine. You need people, you need friends. And another thing also is you need to recognize friends also who are better than you.
Very important. Very important.
Friends who are better than you. Don't and I like to keep people like that around me. Who I feel are this person has something I can't do. You become I'm that type of person. I am friends with you and I learn a lot from you. So if I'm stuck in a position, I send you my work and say, what do you think? What do you think about it? And that's how I have grown, actually. This is something I've never said before, but I mentioned 3 of them earlier. When I can be working actually and I'm stuck and I'm thinking, who should I call? Let me call Aluko. I call Aluko. What do you think about this thing? Do you think say this left eye, he good?
Good.
I do add color, or I'll call Okwe. I'll say, Okwe, what do you think? Okwe is like my brother. What do you think about this thing? He make I add purple. You should say purple. Or I'll just call Raji, or I'll send the picture to Raji and say, Raji, what do you think? You need people like that in your space. You need people whose minds you can trust. Funke is another fantastic female artist. Maybe I'm sketching and she can see that I'm rushing that thing. She'll just say, Chaco, why are you overthinking this thing? Continue it. You need people like that in your space. Why are you you're overthinking? Or she'll say, Madam, rest. You're overthinking that thing. Leave it. Rest. We'll come back to it. You need people like this. So you can't just do this thing alone. That's pride. So these are just things that I feel we have said a lot of things today.
We have, and I'm sure so many people will go back to this video to still watch and go through all of we have said, all the things that we have said so far. And when you talk just now about having friends who are better than you are, such that you can glean from them, I also think that it's important that we are also those kind of friends to somebody else. Such that someone can send something to you and you can give the person constructive
criticism,
feedback, as opposed to just, being a black hole and just sucking from other people and not giving back as well. Because I see that I see that there's a lot of learning that happens when you even teach other people or when you help other people sieve through their thoughts as well. There's a lot of growth that also happens there as well. So this was a really, really, really lovely conversation. Thank you so much.
I'm glad I could provide my little
it's not little. It's not little. I don't know whether to fire also. They say, you're not that to
go, no? Thank you so much. Thank you. I was glad to have had this conversation. Thank you.
Yeah. And thanks to everyone that was here. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Saw all your comments. We're not ignoring you. We're seeing it. Thank you so much for being here with us. And do share this video to other people, because we'll have it saved on the page, to other people that you think would learn a thing or two from this conversation that we have with our master.
Wow. Master care. I'm a child. My master is here. Mr. Bionolapu is here. So please don't let him start coming, please.
All right. So thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Yeah.